Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do a catch up on the YouTube Pagan Challenge. So this will be week 22, 23, and 24. So starting with week 22, do you create your own correspondences? For the most part, no. But I do have some exceptions. Like for me, the color yellow means home. It means harmony, and so if I do a working for the home, like a home blessing, or to bring peace and tranquility to the home, I'm gonna use yellow. I know yellow is typically used for things like creativity and other things, but to me, when it's something for the home, I'm using yellow. Same thing, like if it's for tranquility, I'm most likely going to use yellow, even though I think many would use like blue for tranquil, but for me it's yellow. And lemons. The reason why it's yellow is because of the lemons, I think, really, because lemons evokes that feeling of peace and calm to me, and like I did a witch's bottle for the home a few years back when we lived in our old home, and that place was just filled with like an unease, and a lot of it was because it was in such disrepair, and things just started happening like back to back to back, appliances breaking down. We started having like leaks in the ceilings, and apparently it's a whole big thing with the roof, and there was even a hole in the roof over time, unbeknownst to us. And a lot of that was because the person that built the add-on, our master bedroom was actually an add-on to the house, did not do it up to code. And so there's this layer that's supposed to go through between your roof and like your ceiling, that's supposed to protect from water damage, and also on top of the roof it's supposed to protect from water damage. And the person responsible for building that add-on did not do that, and so we had a lot of water damage that we weren't aware of happening at the level of the roof. It was so big thing. Anyways, it's a large part in why we had to move. It just was literally destroying the house. At the time we didn't realize that. But anyways, I created this witch's bottle to bring harmony to the home, to bring peace to the home, because when you're in that kind of environment where every time you look around it's like, oh my gosh, this next thing is broken, this next thing needs to be fixed, and you don't have the money to repair these things, it's a stressful situation, it's a stressful feeling, and all you do is you feel like you're sinking, so I wanted to bring more calm and peace to the home. I had created a witch's bottle, and in it I honestly can't remember everything I used in there. Like, I don't remember the herbs and everything at the time. I know I used sage, and I did use chamomile, but I can't remember what else I did. Anyways, and I got these, they're fake flowers. Or flowers to me always represent like cheer, like they could bring about cheer, but I brought these yellow fake flowers to stuff into the witch's bottle as well. And I think that stems from my childhood growing up. My mom, whenever she cleaned, she did Sunday cleaning, and that was her big clean day, Sundays, and she would always use like a lemon scented cleaner, like Pine Sol and some other lemon scented cleaner, I can't remember. Oh, I think Mr. Clean. Pine Sol and Mr. Clean. And so the house would always smell like lemons. And she would always open up the windows and the curtains, or if it was winter, not the windows, but the curtains at least. And so there would be this huge sunlight that would come inside the home. And it was just, I guess, that smell and that brightness stuck with me. And so anytime I smell lemons, that's what it takes me back to, that memory. And so it washes over like a peaceful feeling to me and things like that. And so, and by that same token, that's what I use lemon scented things for, to bring about peace and harmony, because that's what it represents to me. That's the feeling I get whenever I smell lemon. So I would use the yellow and lemon in conjunction with each other too. So like if I were doing a spell for the home, it would be a yellow candle, and I would probably anoint it with a lemon oil, or a lemon based oil, maybe even like lemon and bergamot kind of combination. But so as far as that goes with correspondences, and I know there's a few others that I do like that, but I can't remember what they are at this moment. But usually it's something that triggers a memory, which triggers an emotional feeling to me. So in those instances, I would not necessarily follow the prescribed correspondences. However, in the correspondences that are set forth, I do pick from it what I get. So if to me it's saying, because you know how, one color can for various different things, if one of those things does not mesh well with me, then no, I don't use that association. I don't use that color or that herb or whatever. In regards to that association, I would use something different. So yeah, that's as far as the correspondences go. I basically, at the core, I do follow the prescribed correspondences, but here and there are some that I pick out and I make my own. So that's that. In regards to correspondences. Let me see. The next question is, how important is diet / magical use of food? My diet. Yeah, my diet is horrible. First of all, let's just get that out of the way. I know there are some who are vegan. Some are vegan and some are vegan due to their spiritual beliefs. Some are vegan because it's simply a healthier way to be. I'm not. No. I like to eat. I love to eat. And what I've been discovering on working on my weight is that my biggest issue is food portions, the amount in which I eat. And part of that issue is, if I put too much on my plate, I feel as if I have to eat all of it, like I'm wasting it. And that's probably due to growing up and, how they tell you, eat all your food. There are people in, whatever countries starving. My grandmother used to say there's people in Africa starving. My grandfather, for whatever reason, used to say there's people in China starving. Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of going a little off topic. I do use food as offerings. I don't really do ritual, so I don't do the cakes and ale thing. Whenever I have done ritual, I still do not do cakes and ale, but depending upon who I'm working with, what deity I'm working with, my offering to that deity may be food. I have offered milk to both Isis and Ganesh, but my main offering for Ganesh was turmeric, and for Isis it was usually one of the crystals that are sacred to her. And I would usually keep those separate from the rest of my crystals, and then I would cleanse them, either if I was going to reuse them again for her, or if I was just going to put it back with my other crystals and probably pull out something different for her. I would cleanse it after a while. Currently, in a previous video I mentioned that I was going to be working with Kali as the start of this next phase of my shadow work, and I have come to realize that she is not the one I should be working with first. The goddess I'll be working with first, or I'm working with first, is Demeter, or Demeter. And I will be offering up a food offering to her. Kali, I think, is actually going to be my next one, because I was going to work with Kali to deal with work through my fears. But as I went along and reading through again, because I had picked out a group of goddesses I was going to do work with through the Goddess Oracle deck, and in reviewing the ones that I had pulled out, it felt to me as if I should be working with Demeter first. In that deck, Demeter deals with recognizing your feelings and emotions, and then learning to express them. And that is a huge issue with me, and I think that is something that I need to work on before I even work with dealing with my fear. I need to learn to express those emotions. For whatever reason, well, I kind of know the reasons, but anyways, I don't. I don't express them, and I don't express them when they need to be expressed, and that is an issue for me, and that is something that over time could even affect my relationship with my husband. So I think that's something that's more important. I think going through that will actually help me, when it's time to work with Kali, work through my fears, because then I think it'll help me recognize what emotions or what things are triggering those fears. So when I work with Demeter, I will be giving a food offering to her throughout the entire time. Well, I'm not going to say throughout the other time, because sometimes I do give different offerings depending upon what I feel I need to do. So, but in that instance, I feel food is sacred within a ritual or spiritual context. Everyday meals, I mean, those can be sacred too, especially if you're putting intent into when you're creating your food. I don't, but although on the Sabbats, when we do have meals to honor them, again, to me, that is a sacred meal or sacred time. But your meals, any meal, can be made sacred. But for me, those are the times in which they're made sacred. So, the next question is, how does spirituality relate to your mundane life? Well, I wanted to do this, and this is the last question I'll be working on in this video, but I wanted to lump this into this video because, again, it deals with one of the ways in which spirituality can be a part of your mundane life, or as a part of your mundane life, is through food. Food can be very sacred, and if you make it sacred in your preparation, in which, you know, you create your meals. For me, like I said, every meal isn't sacred to me, but in a way it kind of is. I'm not really making them with the intent of, you know, whatever, to create happiness or encourage stability or create confidence or whatever. I'm not putting these magical intents per se into my food when I'm cooking, but cooking means a lot to me, and I love to cook. Working and having 2 children makes it hard to cook, it makes it hard to cook the types of food or the types of meals I would like to cook. But cooking to me is an expression of love, and so I I don't want to say I'm showing my love to my family through my food, but in a sense, yes, that is what it is. I'm very into my cooking process when I cook, and so I do hope that my love does come through in my meals. You know, I do think about my family when I cook, and I think about what they will like, and or if it's something new, you know, hoping they will like this and hoping it makes them happy. So in that sense, yeah, I guess, you know, that's kind of spirituality too coming through in your mundane world. Other things is that at work, if I'm having a really bad day, I will take time out to do a quick meditation, and it might just be saying a mantra over and over a few times, or just taking that time to just to breathe for a little bit, to, you know, get myself back and anchored. I have crystals at my job, and it's usually crystals geared towards absorbing negativity, or, you know, promoting like a stability in me, or even like love, you know. So I might have rose quartz, I might have hematite. Sometimes I'll have amethyst. So you know, things like that. What else is there? I don't know. I think maybe there are some things that are my spirituality peeking through in my mundane life that I might not even be aware of. It might be just so integrated to me that it's all just one thing. They're not separate. I have a lot of people at work tell me I'm a very calm person and a very calming person. I guess a lot of the times the advice I give can be considered leaning towards like the law of attraction. Like, you know, I'll tell people, don't even think about that in a negative light. You know, just think positive. You want to maintain that positivity to keep whatever bad you're thinking might happen, to keep that away. You know, so I think that for me and for many of us, really, when I first saw this question, I thought, oh God, how can I answer that? They really don't mix, but they do. And I think they do on a level to where we're not even conscious of it or realize it. I really had to think of just those few examples I gave. It just, because to me it was like, no, like at one point I was like, I think I should just skip this question, you know, because I can't. How does your spirituality relate to your mundane life? Because honestly, I always thought it didn't, and I always wanted to find a way to connect the two. But as I really and truly thought about it, I realized that they do connect, and in some ways they connect on a level that's imperceptible and unknown to me, because it's so ingrained into my day-to-day life that it's not. Because when I first thought about it, I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of people who perhaps do ritual every day, or, you know, every few weeks, every moon phase, every whatever. People who are doing spell work almost every day or very frequently. I don't do spell work frequently at all. Really, it's only once in a blue. I don't do ritual hardly ever, and I have not done ritual in a very long time. So, I mean, like when I'm working with, like when I was doing my shadow work last year and working with the dark goddesses, I didn't necessarily do ritual. Like, I didn't actually actively sit at my altar and do ritual. What I did was I would sit in quiet contemplation and reflection. I would research these goddesses to better understand them and to see how, you know, in working with them, what they were going to pull out of me, how they were going to help me deal with certain issues. And in reading about them and researching them, it was like, oh my gosh, yes, I can relate to that. And then I would just kind of focus and meditate on that. So, but in thinking about it, really sitting and thinking and digging into this question, I came to realize that my spirituality is a part of my mundane life, and it's just so deeply ingrained into it that the two are sometimes not separate, and so I don't realize that this part of my spirituality is actually guiding my mundane, you know. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it really, so but that's basically it. So I've knocked out at least 3 more questions. Hopefully I'll be caught up real soon. So thanks for watching, and blessed be.